What's up, Junglies? Welcome to the Jungli podcast, where today I have three very, very special guests, friends, and what really feels like they've become, which is family. This is the wandering Nakas, the Nakahata family that lives on the road, which is a nomadic family from the States that have traveled the world and also world school. Their kid, aka my new younger brother, Ricky, who's recently been promoted to CHO of Jungli, Chief Hug Officer. Give me a hug. He gives good hugs. What's your name?
My name is Ken Ichiro Ricardo Nakahata.
Nice. Let me pause there and ask you, Kenichiro Nakahata, that's quite a mix of cultures and accents as well. So what are your roots? Where did you get that name from?
So my father is Japanese and my mother is from El Salvador. They met in the US. I was born in the States, but my childhood was raised in Japan
New York is where you spend
most of my life.
most of your time, right?
My name is Awilda Nakahata. I was born and grew up in New York, and my parents are from Puerto Rico.
¿Tú hablas español?
Y hablo español bastante bien.
Kenny, ¿tú hablas bien? ¿Estás bien? Sí, muy bien. Yo estoy aprendiendo español. ¿Tú hablas español?
Un poco.
Un poco. Muy bien. ¿Cómo se llamas? What's your name?
Ricardo Hudson Nakahara.
Ricardo Hacha Nakahata. I didn't even know your middle name. Hudson. The river in New York.
Yes.
Amazing. RHN.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. That's a really cool mix of cultures. So before we dive into like how you're traveling and managing things on the road, I'd love to ask you a little bit about your childhood. You're both from a few blocks away in New York, but you didn't know that for a long time, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
What was it growing up in New York in the 70s, 80s? Was it posh and fancy? Was it a struggle? What's your story?
I spent my first 7 years in the projects in Lower Manhattan, actually Upper Manhattan. It was 101st Street, while my dad owned and grew a small bodega or small little shop. And then once he had enough money, we moved up to the Bronx. He thought it was an improvement, but it was actually a really bad neighborhood. So I grew up in the South Bronx, and I lived in the same house from the time I was 7 until I moved off to college. And so it was during the crazy times in the city.
Wow. And yourself?
And for me, I was again born in the States, but when I was a baby, my family moved to Japan. So I actually grew up in Osaka until I was 12 years old in a pretty well-off family. And then my parents split and moved to New York City. And for the first year, myself, my mom, and my other siblings, we were actually living with our aunts and uncles in a different home. So we were actually kind of like didn't have a home of our own place. Eventually, we settled in the Bronx, in the little more nicer area of the Bronx, unlike my wife. And I went to the typical public school system. I went to the university and ended up actually working in the Bronx and worked in the emergency room and the medical examiner's office. So, and the Bronx was always, for some whatever the reason, good to me
Wow.
growing up.
That's super cool. Ricky, I want to ask you, I know you're still going through childhood, obviously, but if you were to talk about your first part of your childhood, where did you grow up and how was, like, let's say, your first 6 years of your life?
So I grew up in a pretty old building. And most of the time in New York,
All right.
obviously, in the Bronx.
Uh-huh.
And most of the time my grandma would take care of me because my parents were always at work at the ER or in the or just out on field duty.
Okay.
So my I usually went to school, and then on the weekends, of course, my parents would come home at night, so I didn't really.
Because they were out working.
Yeah,
Right.
they weren't really. I didn't get to see them much.
Mm,
Because I was all day at school, and then when I came back,
they were working.
yeah, and then my grandma would take care of me.
Grandma take care of you. And your older brother?
He didn't live with us.
Right.
He
Okay.
lived all the way up in Ithaca, which was a 4-hour drive away.
Amazing. Okay, so you guys had a challenging childhood with its, with where you were and where New York was at that time, and maybe your family's backgrounds as well. Out there working while you had Alex all grown up, and Ricky actually is how many years younger than his older brother?
Almost 18 years.
18 years. That's so cool, man. So I would love to know. Let's cut forward in time before we cut back again. How many years have you now been living nomadically?
2020.
Cool.
Yeah.
So 4 years on the road. So even for you, it's like kind of 7 years old to 11 years old that you've been living on the road. So it's like two very different phases of your life. Before we dive into nomad life, can you tell us how did you manage to enable this lifestyle for yourself of traveling on the road for 4 years and perhaps, hopefully, for the foreseeable future, from what I understand from our time together? What sacrifices did you have to make? What steps did you have to take in order to be able to build this life of freedom?
It started with you, with discovering this way of life even exists.
Mm.
And then we did really research and plan as far as how is this even possible. And by everything online, you don't know what's true and what's not. And
Right.
it didn't really, I think, made it more concrete until we actually met families that was actually doing it.
Yeah.
And then that was, I think, a really big moment as far as that to get the courage to move forward with it. As far as the financial part is that I think we both realized that traveling was something we really enjoyed, and we were actually looking forward to early retirement possibly until Ricky came along by surprise, and which was a good surprise. But regardless,
Indeed.
it did
Well, just to be
People
clear,
put-
we did. He wasn't a surprise. We were trying. We were, but we were trying again. Long just said yes, and we were really lucky to conceive him, as I was not a young mom at that point. So we were
Right.
trying for years, and then he finally came.
Amazing. So you had years of, as you said, first it's the mental courage and the mind shift.
Yeah.
The mindset shift, I should say, of like, oh, this is even possible. And then you started to set goals to work towards it. So can you tell us a little bit about the hustle story, about what work you did and what steps you had to take in order to save up?
So we always worked a lot. We were both of the mindset that while we're young enough, we will try to work as much as we can because we never know, when we'll need that money. And we always lived within our means. We actually pared down over the years even because we did have a house at one point and his apartment. And yeah, we realized, this is too much. We don't need all of this. And we wound up downsizing and we got rid of the house. Kenny had a side hustle. He had a store that he ran with a partner. And so that brought in extra money, and all that extra money, we just kept saving. We saved as much as we could always, the max amount, that we could. And sometimes we even lived on half of our income.
Wow. So you're saving 50%?
Yeah.
When I was in my saving period, I considered 20% to be a good month. So 50, I mean, it's totally different dynamics as
Yeah.
a solo versus a family.
Exactly.
But still, 50% is amazing. Okay.
We really buckled down towards the last few years, and we socked away as much money as we could. Kenny worked 2 full-time jobs even for a year.
Holy cow.
not true.
For 2 years, sorry, 2 years. And he had the store. I mean, we were constantly working. And
Yeah.
and that's part of the reason why when Ricky came along, we changed things because, we worked so much when
I-
Alex was little.
I never got to see you really.
And when you came along, we had already cut back our
Slow
hours.
down.
That was after them chilling out. So imagine how much harder they were working before that.
Yeah.
And all that so that you can now live this amazing life, which we'll get to in a sec. But How long was this period of hustle and hard work and saving?
Well, we both worked for more than 20 years.
Wow.
In we both worked in the ER. That's how we met. We worked in the same emergency room. We're both physician assistants, so we're blessed to have a decent income in addition to being able to save. We didn't even think about it in the beginning. It's just constant work because it's available, and we're always short staffed, and we were team players, so we always would say, okay, we'll come in if there's an open shift. Oh, we don't want our coworkers to suffer. We know how it feels to work short staffed, and so
Wow.
we worked.
You pushed.
We pushed,
Yeah.
and it just became automatic. We didn't even know what to do when we weren't working. So
So we always either worked extra at our primary job, or we would have another part-time job in another hospital, another institution.
Right.
And it felt actually weird not just to work the typical 36-hour, 40-hour week, because it felt like, that's it, kind of like it kind of,
You were built for 60.
yeah, like your mind, yeah, we just got used to it. And that's actually, I guess, was not normal either, because then for us to miss Christmas and New Year, like all this family gathering became like just like normal.
Normal to miss.
Right.
That's also, it's also double pay on.
Or it's just they don't have a staff, or it's like your turn.
and we were also the leaders. We were the chiefs
See?
in our ERs. So
Right.
that kind of leaves the burden on us.
Of course. Of course.
And we tried to lead by example,
Yeah.
that if everybody's got to work holidays, we'd also work the holidays, right?
Makes sense.
So
I think that's a really good summary. And one of the things we like to do in this podcast is share openly about how different people have made this life work. Because this life isn't normal, right? There's other moms and dads out there that are working, living in one city. They're not taking their kid all around the world. So
Sure, that might be propaganda.
there might be propaganda. But one thing I want to summarize about their story to their nomadic life is step one, downsize. Step one, think about if you're a nomadic family watching or someone that's thinking of taking the leap of faith into this kind of lifestyle. I think there's some real good lessons, which is step one, downsize. See what you have in your life that you don't need. Can you live with less floor space? Can you live without that car? Can you sell it to get a cheaper car? What are your bare bones you need to survive? Maybe not thrive just yet, but just survive, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to survive first to thrive later.
Yep.
So step one, downsize. Step two, diversify your income streams or build a side hustle if possible. Like Kenny had his store. They worked at multiple hospitals. And then step three is save and quantify your savings with how much of your monthly income are you actually able to put away. Can I also ask if it's okay? Were you exposing those savings to any vehicles that would help grow your money further in terms of investments?
yeah, we invested all of our savings. We
Because they have, in the States, we have the 401k,
Okay.
457. They're all these job related savings strategies,
Right.
which of course we use that to save money, but also for tax benefit. It's one of those, once you start putting the money in and before you get your paycheck, so it just kind of
You don't
becomes
see it.
automatic that's it was easier to live off. That's what's left after they take all that money for the investment, and then they were invested in whatever typical market goes. We were not necessarily more aggressive or more
we
right?
always invested
Maybe
pretty. We always
High performance, high growth.
exactly.
yeah, that's true, because we had more long-term right.
But correct me if I'm wrong, your 401k you can only access later in life or?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
So we still had separate savings
Right.
Oh,
too, but
And those we also invested in ETFs.
nice.
So, the just a robo investor, so there's least amount of fees. And so, yeah, we had multiple investments in that regard.
Yep. Nice.
So
That's
the-
actually, sorry, go on.
no. So another thing that we found actually valuable was eventually we actually had the opportunity to sit down and speak with a professional financial advisor. I mean, they were managing our savings and our investments for the retirement, but when we actually really sat and spent time going over the numbers, they were actually able to show that
Mhm.
with the amount that we had saved at certain point, that if our budget was within certain percentage of the pile, you can actually even retire earlier.
Wow.
And these are like information that we would never got just by working, or just by reading. So I know that, using this professional help advisors, there's some fee involved, but the insight that they have, we found them very valuable.
Yeah.
And eventually that led us to actually, okay, pull the trigger,
Pull the
because
trigger.
they made it like, look, you have this much money, you can live off this, and you won't run out of money before you turn 90 or whatever that number stays.
Yeah.
So we found that very valuable, and we still continue to use them to, again, for money, but also for tax benefits. And
They know all these interesting
Yeah.
tax strategies that we would never have known, and the average accountant, I don't think would know how to do these things.
Right.
Important to note, this is not an accountant. You're talking about a financial planner or a wealth manager.
Exactly.
What do you call them?
So it's through Schwab,
Through Schwab, okay.
which is great because you can access your money without any ATM fees. So we have no affiliation with Schwab, but it's worked out very well with us. And yeah, it's a financial advisor and wealth management package. So they even helped us get our will situated and healthcare proxy. They do the whole package as well as our taxes. So it's been very helpful. And I guess the other thing I would add is the one thing for young people out there who might be listening, even if you start off small, you don't have to put half of your income away. But if you start off small and you're consistent, you'll take advantage of the dips and troughs of the market. And then the tax benefits are one thing, but you also get the compounding interest
Yes.
over time, and you'll see the trajectory of your savings take off. And it's really very subtle in the beginning, but after a while, the growth just really zooms. And that's what the point where we finally were like, whoa, maybe we can do this,
It's the power of compound interest.
Compound interest, man. Have you managed to learn a little bit about personal finance through your parents' journey?
Yep.
Yeah?
Actually,
What have you learned?
sometimes when my dad's investing, he shows me the graph,
Oh, cool.
and then he asks me if I should buy it, or if he should buy it, or if he should sell.
Nice. Okay. And when do you want to buy? When do you want to sell?
So if you can see if you can see the graph go up,
Okay.
you might want to buy.
Okay.
Like if it's been going up for a while, try and buy, so that way you can ride the upstream.
Right.
And a lot of people think, buy it when it's cheap. If you think,
Uh-huh.
don't buy random cheap stocks, because they'll just go out instantly. So buy a stock that you think will really be beneficial to people while it's new. And then after that, you can buy like thousands of stock for pennies.
How can you buy thousands of stocks?
Invest in the stock market.
Nice.
Just buy tons of stock for just a few dollars.
Yeah.
And then eventually, when that company gets big, it will go up and up and up. And then eventually, each of those stocks will be worth $2,000.
Amazing. You know, the best part I love about hanging out about Ricky is he's really one of the smartest 11-year-olds I've ever met. And it surprises people when they learn that this guy doesn't go to school. We're going to talk about that in a second, your approach to world schooling. But first, I just want to summarize their kind of financial story without it being financial advice. Disclaimer, this is not legal or financial advice. Please don't sue. Past performance doesn't indicate future performance and all that stuff. But there's just a lot of similarities between our stories or our strategy with building a portfolio. And obviously, scale doesn't matter because, as she said, even if you're young and starting small, it's the same rules that applied. So just to reiterate what they were, step 1, downsize, see what you can save. Step 2, earn money through multiple income streams if you need, or with one solid job if that's what's working for you. Step 3, save. If it's 20% of your income, great. If it's 50% of your income, even better. Just as much as you can comfortably save while still living a good enough life, of course.
Of course.
Step 4 is invest. And as they have both rightly pointed out, and Ricky said, buy thousands of stocks. The way you do that, or the way we have done that actually, is by buying what she mentioned is ETFs, or exchange traded funds, also called low cost index funds. So what you're doing is you're buying a unit of stock that is exposed to thousands of companies, like let's say the top 500 companies of America, that's actually controlled by an algorithm. So you're not being a fund manager to put your money in places. You're just putting money for an algorithm to choose like best 500 top 500 companies is where your money is going to go. If one of those companies tanks and becomes company number 501, the previously ranked number 501 will come into number 500 and you automatically are exposed to the best companies. It's such a hack that I wish I was taught in school that I'm so glad you have learned at a young age, because your money really grows on its own. And as she said, when compound interest comes in, your money's making money for you. So that's something I really wish more was taught more, and that knowledge was more accessible. So I'm so glad we're talking about it, and thank you so much for sharing about your personal finance journey like so openly. Let's now talk about the more fun stuff, because you do have to do the hard stuff to then live a fun life. It's all about balance. Ricky, can you tell me, from New York, when your parents decided, all right, let's pack her up, boys, let's hit the road, where all have you been? Where have your travels taken you?
Way too much. So when we first started traveling, we wanted to travel, but then COVID hit.
Yeah.
So we couldn't go anywhere. So what we decided to do was we packed all of our bags because we were already ready to travel. We had sold a lot of stuff. Filled up our bags. We got in our car, and then we just went camping. Drove around the U.S. We drove down the East Coast.
From New York, rode down the East Coast.
And then we went down into Florida and all these other places. I forgot the
You
name.
started exploring America first, which is really cool. Did you get to know more of America and the geography of America through that?
Yeah, it's really a lot.
You learned a lot?
We stayed in Florida at a house sat for about 3 months.
What's house sitting?
You basically we would use a thing called trusted house sitters.
Okay.
And it's basically an app that will tell you where you could post like I need help for this amount of time for you to take care of my house and my pets. So they give you free housing, but in exchange you have to take care of the house and give you the pet and take care of the pets.
That's a pretty good deal, isn't it?
Yeah, you stay in their house.
Did you have fun?
So we stayed in a place in St. Petersburg, Florida, for about how long? 3 months?
No, first it was 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we came back, and then they had wanted to do the American Great Loop, which
Ooh, what's that?
which you go up the East Coast
Okay.
into the Great Lakes and then come down
In a car?
No, in a boat
In a boat, because a car wouldn't go in the lake, would? That's all right. So you go in the boat into one of the Great Lakes.
up the East Coast into the Great Lakes, and then you go down the middle of the U.S. down the Mississippi,
Wow. Okay.
and then you come back to Florida.
So it's a loop, but on the eastern side.
Yes.
Super cool.
And it took them a year.
Okay.
So they were like, we need your help to take care of our place for 11 months. And we're like, no, we're doing it for 3 months, and then you'll have to find someone else.
Yeah.
And then we fell in love with the animals.
That's so cute. Were they dogs?
One dog and one cat.
Oh, that's awesome. So America is where you grew up, New York is where you grew up, but then you got to see a little bit more of the countryside of America. You've also traveled internationally, which we'll talk about in a sec. But before that, I want to ask you, how do you feel about your home country? How do you feel about America? Do you love America?
Inflation. Expensive.
Never said another 11-year-old when I ask him, how do you feel about home? And he just says inflation. That's how you know he's a bloody nerd. I love it. Okay. So inflation is how you feel about America. It is expensive to live. And that is actually a really astute and accurate observation, which I don't think anyone can argue with. Where have you traveled at after America, and how were your experiences over there?
So after we left America, we flew down to Central America.
Okay.
And we explored a few of the countries like El Salvador, Guatemala, Ecuador. Ecuador's not in South America, but
It's Central America.
Central
Yeah.
America. So anyways, we explored all those countries. And then we flew back down into South America. And we explored about half of the countries there. So
No. Where did we go after Ecuador?
we went to Peru,
Nice.
saw Machu Picchu.
Was
Then we went
and we
to
spent 4 months in Peru.
4 months. It's a really long time.
Nice.
That.
Did you like South America?
Yeah, it's fun.
Nice. Do you think I would like South America? That's my dream destination.
Yeah, probably would.
You think I'd like it?
Yeah.
Is South America similar to India?
Yeah, kind of.
What's similar?
Uh, the roads are pretty bumpy. Yes. They also like to make stews.
Oh, nice. Okay.
They eat beef,
Yeah. Okay. That's a difference.
unlike India.
Yeah.
They like soup a lot,
They like soup.
and they speak Spanish.
They speak Spanish. Same over here. Estoy también. Nice. Okay, cool. So you did South America, and then do you all want to share about your more recent adventures? I think you've crossed
Sure.
hemispheres.
Yeah. So the last 2 years, we've been in Asia.
Wilda, can I ask, how do you pick which places you want to go to? Is there, what are the factors, be it financial or what do you look for in a place?
We really wanted Ricky. So since he got to experience some Latin American culture, we wanted him to see his Japanese side. So
Nice.
we spent a lot of time in Japan where Ricky not only learned the culture and we did wolf volunteering, which was really a great experience for all of us.
Wolfing, for those who don't know, is where you work in exchange for accommodation.
WOLF stands for Worldwide Organization of Organic Farmers.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I've been using the phrase like ever since van life in Australia, and I had no idea. Thanks, man.
And then, so Japan was great. And he got to learn some Japanese. We found him a Japanese teacher. Vietnam was always on our list. But, you asked how we find our places. Some of them are simple like that. It's natural to go to Japan. But we went to Vietnam for the first time because of another world schooling group. And that one advertised as being a place to learn STEM and to surf. And so Ricky likes both science and surfing. So we said, well, that's a perfect fit for us. And then the other thing that I do to find places is I troll Facebook, basically. All these world schooling Facebook pages is how I get most of my information. And so I watch to see what's going on. And usually I take some time to really study the programs before I jump in because there's so many out there. I want to make sure I make a good choice. And so next January, we'll be joining another world schooling group in Bansko, Bulgaria.
Cool.
And so that's another place that I try to pick at least some places throughout the year that I know will help Ricky make some connections
Nice.
with other kids that, he will connect with because they have a similar lifestyle. I pick some with Ricky's needs in mind, and then I let Kenny go crazy.
Here, Kenny drives. I have a question. You guys have mentioned world schooling quite a bit and how, the kind of different experiences that you're exposing Ricky to, which I think is so cool. Like I legit thought you were gonna say that's when he did some real school. I thought you were gonna be it was gonna be a very dad moment. Then he's like real snowboarding. And it was such a Japanese passion for that fine powder. So I want to ask you, Ricky, tell me how you learn. If you don't go to school, how are you so smart? How is ChatGPT installed in you? Is it like, made by OpenAI at the back, or how do you know everything you know?
So, for my school, I use different programs.
Okay.
One of them being CTC Math.
So these are all online programs?
Yeah, online.
Okay.
But I do them by myself. I don't have like an online school or anything.
There's no like teacher at the other end and a Zoom call.
No.
It's like a self-learning program?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, the program provides me with videos to teach me the subject, and then I have less questions.
Right. So CTC Math for math.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else?
And then I use Khan Academy for history.
Khan Academy. Nice. That's a really famous one for history. Is it good, Khan Academy?
Yeah, right now I'm learning U.S. history.
US history.
That's pretty dark, as usual.
But amazing that you're learning it, and you're learning also maybe the dark part, because what we do know about schools and textbooks is they can be rewritten in favor of whoever was the writer. So right. So CDC Math for math, Khan Academy for history.
And
what other subjects do you learn?
those two I do by myself. And then with my mom's help, I do Brave Writer.
Okay, what Brave Rat is that? English?
English and writing.
Yes.
So basically, they give us certain books, so I read the books, and then they give me passages from each book, and then I have to write it in dictation. So my mom will recite it, and then I write it.
Oh, I see. Okay. That's really cool.
And then another thing is using After that, after I write it down, then they tell you about why they chose that passage.
Okay, cool. So your math, history, English, creative writing. What I've also noticed about Ricky that is amazing is he's a sponge on where he is. When we did a factory tour, which is something that I was bored out of my brain about as a kid, but now I find fascinating. Ricky was asking very interesting questions and really soaking in like the processes of the old factory, which was the history behind Jungli, where we are. But similarly, I've seen that you've written an essay about Black Panthers, because Dandeli is also one of India's most dense Black Panther forests. And you even wrote a creative essay about a day in Jungli, how the animals wake up, how the humans light a bonfire, and how in the evening another day must come, and how, the animals come out at night. So, can you tell me how you seek inspiration from your place where you are and how that directs your learning?
So usually when I have to write an essay or something, my mom just says, "Do a free write."
Free write.
Yeah.
That's a cool concept. What's free writing?
A free write is basically it's writing,
Mm-hmm.
but you can write about whatever you want. There's usually some limitations, like you have to write 30 pages worth of writing, or just like 2 paragraphs or something. And it has to be about like an animal or something.
Yeah, some kind of. Okay.
Usually that's
Some prompt.
yeah.
Some prompt.
Like I can't write a 3 paragraph essay about the floor. I mean, I probably could if I wanted to.
Knowing you, man.
But so yeah, I usually do that, and I do some research on the area,
Okay.
and then I just write an essay.
That's cool.
Sometimes I write it in like a story like form.
Yeah. I like that.
Other times I just write it like just an essay with facts and stuff.
One more question to you before I ask your parents about what it's like being world schooling parents is, do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy your way of learning of the world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
If it's a drag, you can say it's a drag.
no, it's not.
It's not a drag.
Yeah.
You like it.
I feel like, because if I know the stuff that I'm learning, because I like to learn on my own time as well.
Can you say that again?
I like to learn on my own time as well.
I think that is like really important. I hated being woken up at 7 a.m. and going to school. Being a teenager, I was like, this doesn't feel natural for me. I want to have my late night. I want to have my sleep in. I'm better after 11 a.m. still today. But you want to learn on your own time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I usually, when I learn, I like to learn in my free time, and I also like to learn about different things.
Hmm.
So, for example, I would like to learn, like, if we're in the jungle, like in Jungli, I'd learn about like what animals live here.
Yeah. Can you tell us a few animals that there are in Jungli and what you've learned?
We've seen some deer,
Hmm.
some Indian giant squirrels,
Nice.
tons of monkeys,
Nice.
especially the red-faced macaques,
Yeah.
and then the black-faced langur
Yeah.
monkeys. And a lot of different types of birds. There are some crocodiles in the river.
Nice.
Is that a Jungli?
Super cool, man. Super cool. I love how he really sponges on wherever he is. And then I've seen him welcome new junglies like yesterday at the bonfire and make them feel very welcome as well. So it's not just the book skill, it's also like the soft skill and like learning how to meet new people, which is very, very cool to see. So keep it up, bro. I'm a big fan. Can I ask you, what is it like being world schooling parents, especially through the lens of you're the perfect experiment? You've put one kid through the traditional education system. We love you, Alex. And you put another one through an alternative world schooling system. So what's that contrast been like?
So it was really hard at first, honestly, because I went to Catholic school, 12 years of Catholic school and university, and everything that I experienced growing up in school was not how I wanted to raise him. And I do believe that kids really want to learn. Like, I think they're curious and they want to know um, about the world around them and understand it. And my biggest goal was to not crush that and not kill that curiosity. But by the same token, I do want him to be prepared should he pursue a career that requires university. And I hope he does pursue a career that requires university.
Interesting. So you still vouch for the tertiary education system.
Only because I think if he wants to go into medicine or engineering or something along those lines, I think he should have that option.
Yeah.
I think he should have the skills to allow him to go there because I don't want him to feel limited.
Yeah.
So I do have some parameters that I need him to be able to do higher level math and understand the world around him and be able to put, sentences together in a cohesive manner. And
Of course.
I particularly, I think most important skill I want him to learn is critical thinking skills. I think that is something that's not focused on in traditional school. And so how to read things, especially in the age of social media and internet where you can post anything on the internet. I really want him to be able to distinguish good, accurate, science-based information as opposed to, just propaganda and conspiracy theories, basically.
Nice. That's fair enough. And you've met other families that are also world schooling kids. This is not just something you're doing. This is a movement that's happening.
Yeah, we've been really surprised at how many families are doing this. When I first started hearing about it, I guess 6 or 7 years ago, probably like 7 years ago, actually, I only heard the same few names over and over again. But now that we've been doing this, there's thousands of families out there doing this. Some part-time. We've met doctors who travel half the year and work as a locum tenens for half the year. So even professionals are doing it. So there's so many people out there traveling full time with their families, at least for, some part of their time. A lot of them do settle down eventually, and we may settle down someday when the need arises. But as of right now, things are working for us. And yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I think also world schooling, there's also just like education
Mhm.
style.
Yeah.
Can be so diverse also. So we met families that actually follows a very strict curriculum set by their country or their state or whatever. And they're like basically almost like classroom-esque studying versus unschooling, which is a interesting concept of learning and teaching. And I'm sure we fit somewhere.
What's it or cooling? Say it as it is. Oh, you want a minute? So I first spoke.
Unschooling is basically, it has a good intention,
Okay.
but it's hard to execute properly.
What is the intention?
The intention is good. It's to not force the kid to learn
At all.
at all.
Okay.
So if the kid wants, they can sit on their butt and play video games all day.
Really? Okay. All right.
But unschooling is basically waiting for the kid to come to you and say, "Hey, I want to learn this," or "Hey, I want to learn that." But realistically speaking, how many kids will come up to you and say, "Hey, I want to learn advanced algebra"?
Very true.
So
What is your perspective? Because you do world schooling and you have a view of unschooling. What is a good balance for, and of course, everyone is different. I think that's a good thing that world schooling and these alternative learning, ideologies recognize. But what do you feel if you were to have a kid in the future? What balance would you set between world schooling, unschooling, or typical school?
it depends on what's realistically possible.
Okay.
Like if I don't have time or money, normal school, because you just can't do it.
Interesting.
But if you actually have the money and the time, I wouldn't put them in like an online school because I know I'd hate that because I did that during COVID.
Oh, yeah. Online school meaning there was a class and a teacher online on Zoom or whatever. And you tried that and you didn't like it.
Yeah, because you have to get on at a certain time.
Yeah.
There's like all these times.
You can't learn on your own time.
Yes. What I like is that because what we do is not exactly school online.
Mm.
Since I do it on my own, like since I do my school, And I mean, I have a certain amount of stuff I have to do every day, but I do it when I like have the time to do it.
Yeah.
Like if I'm busy, I don't have to drop everything.
And
but
do that school when you're not in the mood.
yeah. So usually what I do is because like it wouldn't fit well with this because normal online school,
Yeah.
if we travel and move around,
Hmm.
their time will not change.
Yeah, but yours does.
Yes, so I'll have to wake up at 3 a.m. to do it. And trust me, I've had experience doing that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I've had to stay up until like 1 a.m. just to do my school.
That's not good for you, man.
So I hated it.
Right. Interesting.
So what I would do for my kid,
Yes.
in summary, is I would have them have a schedule, but like and a certain amount of stuff to do.
So some goals for the week.
Yes, and they have to like do it before midnight
Mm-hmm.
or like 2 in the afternoon. But other than that, they can figure out how to do it there. But they have to do it.
Okay. Okay. So it's like you got some outcomes. Do it in your own time. You'll give them some kind of online learning platforms that they can do in their own time. Like maybe you'll say, do 3 modules of Khan Academy history this week,
Yeah.
2 of math,
Yeah.
and 1 creative essay about a Black Panther.
Yeah, that's
Was that his last week?
yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, that's it. And the reason I like this is because my friends in New York, by the time I wake up at 7 a.m.
Oh.
Near in India, their time is already 9:30.
Yeah, they're gonna bed.
That's why if I had to do school as soon as I wake up, I wouldn't be able to play with my friends at all.
Yeah, so you still have a virtual connection with your friends. You wake up and you play video games with them and Dungeons and Dragons with them
On Sundays,
on Sundays.
Sunday nights. But yeah, every day. I usually call them in the mornings.
Have a chat.
Play so we can play with each other a bit, and then after that I stop. I do some school for a little bit until it's breakfast time. I have breakfast and then finish my school.
Yeah, and then yell at me for having breakfast late. Don't
Yep.
forget that part. I think that's really cool that you actually managed to continue your long-term connections with your friends, and when you go back to New York, you continue where you left off rather than it feeling like this big gap. One question that a lot of people have about world schooling to parents, which is only natural, which I'd love to ask all of you, is screen time. Right? Today, a screen can be such a good thing for kids. I'm very pro technology, as you might be able to tell. But also, we all know that it's designed for addiction. You know, the colors, the red color on that notification is red because it makes us click it.
Right.
All of these things that the way the apps are designed. How do you manage Ricky's screen time, if at all, and not monitor, but just be aware that it's being used for good rather than that rabbit hole that all of us are addicted to? Let's be honest.
Right. That's always a struggle. You know, if left to his own devices, he would be on the screen a lot more than I'd like.
Yes.
It is.
I cannot deny that.
Unfortunately,
But I will get my schoolwork done because while you were gone for that 2 days, I did my schoolwork. I played with my friends, and then after they were gone. I didn't know what to do because you weren't telling me what to do, and I cannot function without someone to tell me what to do.
is that true?
Yes.
You love a little bit of direction still?
Yeah.
It's not like you're fully self-managed. Like you like a little bit of someone telling you, hey, get this done.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Because my brain does not want to work without direction.
Without prompt.
Yeah, like when I have a schedule. So I finish the schedule, and then after that, I just don't know what to do because my brain works in a way that it just won't know what to do if I'm not told to do it. So because I don't want to do anything wrong. And then, but if I don't see anything obvious to do and I've finished everything I have to do at that time, my brain kind of just malfunctions.
Do you then start to feel boredom? Or do you...
Then I kind of feel confusion and my brain just slowly burns away until it's a little pile of ash.
Nice. All right, moving on. So how do you manage the screen time?
So yeah. So we try to basically find opportunities to leave the house is usually the real thing that gets him going. Because if he's in the house, and he's right, you know, if I'm not directing him, he has a hard time like finding things to do on his own.
I don't know.
And I think that is one of the limitations of us traveling, because he doesn't have a room full of things to keep himself entertained. We have a few little things, but it gets boring after a while playing with the same toys.
For context, he has a folding keyboard and a skateboard that he
Yeah.
travels with, which is,
Yeah.
you're an audio nomad, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, I don't really get to use the skateboard too much because it is really hot. So
Yeah. I mean, for me, like screen time monitoring is all ideal if you can set rules, but it's of course it's hard to enforce it. And we kind of try to teach him the importance of just not doing anything and be bored. Like it's okay to be bored, because we take that as a negative thing, but it should be like because boredom leads us to act, I think, right? So if not, then you won't go for a walk because every time we have to like, drag him to go for a walk. Even yesterday, we dragged him for late afternoon walk. But once we were out, he's playing with the goat that we saw. We got to see.
there's a baby goat.
Yeah, it was we and we got to see the crocodile in the river.
Yeah.
We got to
Play with matches.
pick up some. So, but again, I don't know how to teach that, right? The importance of just be bored and just get, you move your body for the sake of, and then see what happens, and,
Embracing boredom. I think there's a lot of wisdom in that.
yeah.
Totally.
Snitch.
Sometimes like when I'm upset or just confused, I just go downstairs, sit in a chair, and just look out over the pool to the forest for like a minute or two, and then I just
Feel better?
like meditate a little bit,
That's amazing, man.
back up
That's amazing.
to all the chaos.
Right. Switching gears, bit of a rapid fire question. I have a question for each of you, and they can be individual answers or you can copy the person next to you's answers. Up to you. Kenny, what is your favorite part about nomad life?
My favorite part, I think, is finally, like, I realized the value of able to share, like, this good time with family and friends. And before, for me, I guess, like, for me, like, traveling was always fun and I liked it, even when I was working and whatever. And I used to be okay, just go to places on my own. And when we finally started traveling as friends and all that, or family, still I was more like check off. Like for me, the destination itself was more important.
Right.
And finally, after I grew up a little bit more, I realized no, it's actually spending time with them doing this whatever act
Nice.
is more important. And nomad life really, I guess, reinforced me that more so than anything. So,
Could you please share the wise Japanese phrase you shared yesterday and what it means to you now?
ichigo ichie. So,
Slowly, one more time.
ichigo ichie.
Ichigo ichie. What is-
So that is the savoring the uniqueness of that moment in time, usually with like people you are with, and because you never will be repeated, and uh, the I don't know, it just that phrase I heard a long time ago, but like for this year, for some reason, it really like grabbed me, and even yesterday, last night when we got to sit by the bonfire, it was really nice, just hanging out and just spending the time together.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful. Avilda, what is your favorite part about nomad life?
Well, first I would agree with Kenny. I mean, obviously spending time together is the best part. But I think the other thing for me is the feeling of empowerment, knowing that we can make these decisions and we can be here at this moment because of the decisions we chose, not because somebody else told us we had to be here. That it's very empowering to know that if someplace doesn't work out for us, we can go somewhere else.
That's
You
it.
know?
Nothing to lose.
It's really, really nice, and we often say, we can be anywhere for a month. We could do that. I mean, we're strong enough, we're resilient enough, we're resourceful enough that we can be anywhere for a month. But after that month, we if we're not feeling it, it's okay. We can keep going. There's always another place to explore and another place to see and more people to meet. And that's really empowering.
Yeah. That it's not just limited to now. The road always has a way ahead. You don't know what's around the corner, right? Ricky, what's your favorite part about nomad life?
My favorite part about nomad life is probably meeting new people.
Yeah, me too. That too.
Yeah, I love to meet new people as we travel, learn their stories. Like you. You traveled in Australia.
Hey, little brother.
You in Australia for a long time. And learning everyone's stories is good. So I just love to meet new people.
Nice. That's a good answer. What's your least favorite part about nomad life?
My least favorite part about nomad life is that every year, when we go back, we always have to leave. And I have to leave the people who I love most.
Oh, that's hard. New York? You mean your friends in New York?
And my
That's the
friends,
hardest part.
family, all the
Yeah.
people that I've met on my travels that I have to leave.
Oh, so even as you go along and like when you leave places.
You.
Oh man, we won't think about that just yet. Couple of days to go. It's gonna be a tough one because you guys have really become family here, especially with Pachamama here pumping out cookies. Kenny over here making Vietnamese salted coffee and Japanese fried rice, and never had people that have blend in as much. Like from the kitchen's perspective, from the space that you hold, it's been lovely. But we'll get to that in a sec. What is your least favorite part about nomad life, or the hardest part about nomad life?
Monica?
The hard part for me, yeah, I'm like similar to Ricky. Also, not being able to be spending time actually with my mother back in New York as
Yes.
much, even though I do video calls and talk to her pretty regularly, but it's just different than sitting with her, having coffee together,
Yeah.
So those moments I miss being on the road, and of course other family members and friends back home. But
It's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
yeah, you have to. But then I know that I'm gonna feel at loss if I'm then stay home or back in New York when my heart is telling me that I need to see the world with Vicky and Awilda and hopefully Alex one day. But you know,
Wow.
but yeah. So I think we're, I think I'm doing what we are doing right now is what we should be doing,
Nice.
despite whatever other negatives that may be in
That's,
the background.
that's a great way to wrap it. And for you, Wilda, hardest part?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with them for sure. It's always hard to say goodbye, and especially, family at home and, all the people we meet. But I guess the hardest part, besides the emotional aspect, is just meeting the needs of all of us, the three of us. Yeah, meeting everyone's needs, because it's hard to find that balance. Some places are better for Ricky,
Yeah.
and some places are better for Kenny, and some places are better for me. So finding that balance where all our needs are met is hard. It's hard.
We all have different wants, different needs. I like a lot of random things. Like I love jungly
Mm.
because it's really pretty remote in the middle of the forest.
Yeah.
But then you're not completely cut off from the outside world.
Yeah. Right.
Then Dad wants to live in the shack on the top of a mountain
'Cause
where nobody can find him.
he loves his isolation, solitude.
And then Mom
What does she want?
also wants to live on a shack on the top of a mountain.
Guys, we'll build you a shack, all right? We'll find you a mountain. Just keep Ricky here. Nice. I love it. Two more questions and then we'll wrap this one up. Thank you so much, guys, for your patience and your honesty. Look into the camera and tell them, what is your advice for other families looking to go nomadic and take that leap of faith? Take yourself back to pre-COVID when you were hesitating or thinking or weighing it up. What would you tell yourself 5 years ago?
I would tell myself it's okay. It's okay to leave a good job, and it's okay to leave the people you love if that's what is really calling you,
Yes.
and you will make it happen. Once you decide to do it, you'll make it happen. I think it's all of this wavering back and forth that you're afraid. It's natural to be afraid. But once you make that leap, it's so much easier. Things just happen because once you're on the road, you will make it happen. You don't have a choice, right? You'll see that you won't sink, you will swim. And it's so liberating to have that in your power.
Anything to add, Kenny?
What I would tell myself 5 years ago to the device. That I think you just have to take that step, and somehow it will work out if you keep working at it. So like I'm like the money, little bit of a money worry guy. So even that on paper everything looked okay, even once we started doing it and we are still able to, afford our expenses, I was still the one that was checking the account or calling the advisor people, making sure like, is everything okay? Everything okay?
Yeah.
And now it took me a couple of more years to realize, no, everything is okay. So, but I would never know till we actually did it, So, and I realized that you can also go back, meaning
Right.
if this doesn't fit your lifestyle, it's not like it's all over. No, you can go back, put your, home base together again and go back to work and put your kid to school.
Yeah.
And it's okay. You had a little adventure. So it's not like
Nice.
all or nothing
Yeah.
situation.
You
So,
didn't fail.
right. It's just you had a interesting, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's, you know,
And more than most
and
people ever get to have.
right.
Yeah. Or triple.
So,
So,
True. What is your advice to a kid whose parents are saying, all right, Ricky, clone in another universe, we're going to take you, you're going to pack your bags, and we're going to take you around the world, and you're going to leave your school and your favorite neighbors behind, and you're going to learn on the road and go to all these crazy lands.
I can't really talk to myself 5 years ago. So what I'm gonna do is say something for other people who
Yeah.
want to join the traveling.
Yeah.
Take the leap. Don't give up. Don't don't stop. Just keep going. And eventually, if you work hard enough, you will find a way to make it in life.
That's awesome. And are you talking to the parents or the kid? You're talking to all of them.
Yeah.
Nice. What's the biggest concern for a kid as they're leaving their loved ones behind and their familiarity behind? What was your biggest concern? Were you scared? Were you sad?
I was sad. At first, I was pretty homesick. Homesick?
Talk about that. How would you?
Rat homesick,
Mm.
per se. But I was kind of missing my home.
Yeah.
But most of my friends were older than me. Alex, I didn't really get to see him much, so I was kind of used to that.
Hmm.
But my friends and stuff, I was really sad about that.
Yeah.
But really, the biggest part was leaving everything you knew.
Hmm.
Leaving all of the all of the soft sweetness of home
Yes.
and going out to the rough wild.
So if there's let's say there's another 7-year-old out there that's listening to this because their parents are sharing this video with them, and that kid is feeling all those same feelings of the hardness of leaving your soft sweetness of home behind. What would you tell them? The kid.
For the kid, you will be able to make it back home.
Mm.
all of the people will miss you,
Mm.
but they will never forget you. You can always call them, you can always talk to them, but no matter what, don't stop trying to make contact.
Nice.
Just keep trying to keep your friends and try and make new friends.
Try and make new friends, right? Like you're gonna make new friends on the road.
Keep your old friends and try and make new ones. But
That's wise.
don't just give up and just be sad and think, oh, I'm never going to see my friends again.
Yeah.
You'll eventually go back home or something, or they'll come to you and you'll see them. But then just call them or text them.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome. One last question for you guys. What was your intention with coming to Jungli? Because this place is a place where people come from for a stay with an intention of sorts. So what pulled you to Jungli, or what was your intention in coming here, and how has your time been in fulfilling that vision?
You.
No.
We came for you.
Yeah.
You are actually pretty big reason why we came all the way to. We never even heard of Gandeli.
There is big. Because I mean, I get that I was the medium of the message of Xiaobei, but what was it about the place or the vision, or what pulled you here? What was your intention in coming here?
So I mean, initially India was one of the countries that we've been talking about going, but we just couldn't pull the trigger because we just don't. It's just such a massive country with so many places and things to see and do. So that was deterrent, and we just never really even met someone who gave us good information, first-hand information about India in
Right.
general. And when we finally got them, unfortunately, they were all kind of negative.
Oh yeah.
So then, but we still wanted to come here. So eventually, I would have found you and made some nice connections. And then the finally we said, let's just go for it. But we wanted to make sure that our first impression of India won't be ruined by the nonsense.
Yeah.
So we knew that this place will give us some peace
Mm.
and will nurture us that
Yeah.
will be brave enough to
Step out.
to see more of India. So I think that to me was very big about coming here, spend long term. And we also missed nature. We've
Yeah.
been the last year and a half, we basically were in the cities and just a little bit of greens in Japan. So when we heard they have animals here and we're gonna be like able to swim and all that stuff, it just was another, attractive part of coming
Yeah.
all the way here.
Shout out to Ricky for helping us get frogs out of our pool now and then. Awesome. Well, then, did you have something to add?
Yeah, no, I all of what Kenny said, and definitely getting back to nature was a goal for me. You know, we used to actually, when we were working still, a lot of our trips were very much nature based, and but the last couple years, we've been exploring new places, which is great, but not as much nature as we wanted. So
Right.
it was really good. And then also for me, I've been lazy with my yoga, and I was like, all right, I'm going to India.
Right.
That's like the home of yoga. I will get back to yoga in nature, and it's been really nice, being outdoors and going back. So
And you've been able to have your space to do yoga.
yeah, almost every day, every morning I wake up. I would say 6 days out of the week, I wake
Great.
up and I do my yoga.
Stretch it out.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, what was your intention? What did you learn about this place? And did you have any kind of goal for being here, or just wanted to enjoy and experience it?
I liked your vibe.
You knew we were going to be friends.
Yes.
Oh, man, that's sweet. That's awesome.
I also liked that it was really unique
Yeah.
in the fact that it was an old factory, but I really wanted to explore.
Cool.
It was
Wasn't expecting that.
like a nice house, like multiple houses
Yeah.
and bungalows. And like it wasn't completely cut off from the world,
Right.
but it also wasn't in the world entirely.
Yeah, it's its own world, man.
It's its own world, exactly.
That's That's what really drew me here.
Oh, that's awesome. Any final thoughts to add before we wrap it up?
I think the one thing that came to mind that I didn't mention was when we first started traveling, we tried to embrace this phrase of getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And yeah, I think we're doing that. You know, been a priority always. So like when we get too comfortable, we want to try to shake things up a little, and that's one of the reasons we came to India. Um, and I think the take home message is that when you think you're going to be uncomfortable, well, you know, it actually wasn't so bad after all,
Mhm.
and you can keep going to your next adventure.
That's a really good lesson in resilience, which is important for this life. Super, guys. Should we have a group hug?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing that. Yeah, don't forget your dad. Jesus. Love you guys. It's been so fun to have y'all.
Thank you, Devi.
Anytime.
Thank you for bringing us all together.
Oh, thank you for taking a leap of faith from some dude on the internet with some secret WhatsApp channel.
Yeah.
Pretty dodgy.